Hello everyone, I'm Bo from Brutal Commentary, and today I'm going to be breaking down our next matchup for UFC 320. In this one, we have Macy Chiasson versus Yana Santos. Chiasson is 10-4 as a professional, 3-2 in her last 5 fights. Santos is 16-8, 2-3 in her last 5 fights. For Chiasson, her latest fight was against Norma Dumont, which she won via split decision. And I gotta say, looking back now, is like that's a really good win to have, as it seems Dumont is pretty close to cracking a title shot, especially if she beats Ketlin Vieira later in November. Then lost to Irene Aldana at UFC 279, where she got upkicked in the liver, one of the more crazier finishes I've seen. Took a bit of a hiatus and wasn't back until March of 2024, where she went on a good two-fight win streak, submitted Penny Kianzai, and then later at UFC 303 defeated Mayra Bueno Silva via a nasty cut above the eye. Now in her most recent fight against Ketlin Vieira this May, she lost via decision where she got out-grappled. But to be fair, that fight was supposed to be at bantamweight, and that fight had to get moved up to featherweight. So she essentially fought a fighter that was a weight class above. So I don't really take it too much in that. I kind of feel like she got screwed over in that. For Yana Santos, she was on a pretty bad skid, losing to Irene Aldana, Holly Holmes, and Carlo Rosa. But since then has been on a nice two-fight win streak, beating Chelsea Chandler, and then most recently beating Miesha Tate this May. Right off the bat, I gotta think, the size and reach advantage for Chiasson is kind of staggering. 5'11" with a 72-inch reach in comparison to Santos, who's 5'6" with a 68.5. Yeah, that height and reach is going to be pretty distinct. Looking at overall skill sets, Chiasson can do just about everything. She's got good long-range striking. Really, her best attribute in the striking department, I'd say, is her clinch. She's very, very good at there, slashing elbows, crushing knees in the middle, and overall just really good at playing the bully, especially with her, like I said, her physical stats. She was doing pretty well, even against Bueno Silva, who I believe was even bigger than her. She was off, and even when in a fight where she wasn't as much the bully, she was pretty good at I would say being able to keep at range. Showed a pretty good chin. Even showed very good calmness and composure when dealing with a submission artist of Bueno Silva's caliber. That also leads me to what I think is Chiasson's best skill, her grappling. Now, I just said she got out-wrestled by Ketlin Vieira, but, like I said, seemingly a weight class above, and Vieira herself is a very good wrestler, with much better top pressure. For Chiasson, she's very good in the scrambles, very good with her back take, and her rear naked choke. And overall, the scrambling is honestly her best weapons in the grappling, as she's very good at transitioning to positions pretty quickly, and especially getting to the back take, which I think is her best position. Looking at Santos, she's mostly a striker by trade. She's got some pretty good calf kicks, I would say, and overall some good boxing combinations. I mean, absolutely showed it against Chelsea Chandler, and even against Miesha Tate. She's shown some better grappling and wrestling defense. Now, granted, it wasn't the perfect performance, as she did get her back taken a few times in that fight. But overall, in comparison to her other performances, especially like against Holly Holmes, where she got outmuscled in the clinch and just dragged down to the ground multiple times, it showed some improvements. But, to be honest, I can't think Yana Santos really has a chance in this fight. Chiasson, I think, is going to be a better grappler than her, a better wrestler than her. And even on the feet, where Santos should be the better striker, the physical gifts of Chiasson are just so hard for me to just think she's not going to be good at playing the range game. She has to be. And even in close quarters, she's pretty effective, especially in the clinch. I don't think Santos can really use the clinch as an effective means to either break from action, take a chance to rest, because Chiasson is going to be on her. And especially if she's able to play the bully, then her offense really starts going. Now, of course, if Santos starts pressuring, maybe we won't see as much activity by Chiasson, but I just can't see Chiasson really giving much ground to Santos. Another big thing is you gotta think, okay, even with one coming off a loss, like Chiasson against Caitlin Vieira has been very close to a title shot for multiple years now. In comparison to Santos, who's on a good 2-fight win streak, but you think who are those opponents she beat? Chelsea Chandler, who does not seem to be locked in. Hell, she can't even seem to make the weight. And Miesha Tate, who, by her own admission, seems one more fight away till retirement. So, while it's nice that she's on this 2-fight win streak, I can't really say this is a win streak that inspires confidence in me to say, oh, she can beat a top 5 opponent in Macy Chiasson. I can't see it. I really think Chiasson is just much hungrier than both those opponents, and is going to be much more deadly, especially a past prime Tate and Chelsea Chandler. I see this kind of being reminiscent of the Holly Holmes fight, where in the clinch, Santos is going to get out-muscled, but I think it's going to be a little more brutal as Chiasson has much more dangerous elbows, much more dangerous knees, good close-range boxing, being with the uppercuts and the hook. And then in the grappling, I just see her being able to find the submission. I'm honestly thinking submission is pretty live in this fight. As I've said before, I think Chiasson has a good submission arsenal, and I think that's really going to be what helps her find the finish in this fight. So my official prediction is, I'm going to go with Macy Chiasson, and I am going to pick her via submission. With that being said, that has been my prediction for this matchup. If you like the video, comment and subscribe. I always love to hear your opinions, how you think the fight's going to go. Next up, we'll have Daniel Santos versus Ju Sung Yu. This is going to be an excellent fight, and one I'm going to definitely keep an eye out for. But with that said, I thank you all for listening. Take care.